is Petersen. As reported by Kenneth Briggs, a newspaper writer of the New York Times on February 26, 1975, Henry and Elizabeth Van Dusen committed suicide together in their own home via an overdose of sleeping pills. Both Henry and Elizabeth suffered from terminal illnesses, and their suicide note read, "We feel this is the best way to go." Because an option like physician-assisted suicide, otherwise known as PAS, was not made legally or readily available to them at the time, they felt they had to kill themselves to end their chronic suffering. My sympathy, as well as a bit of my empathy, goes out to any of you who have ever considered taking your own life as a solution to a problem that felt like it would never go away. I'm sure if many of us were in the same situation as the Van Dusens, we would struggle to come to a decision as harsh as theirs. The federal government must mandate that PAS be made legal in all 50 states. First, today I'm going to talk to you about the problem of unavailability of PAS in the United States. Then I'm going to discuss a practical solution. Let's begin by reviewing the problem of unavailability of PAS. People across the United States suffering from terminal illnesses are not being given equal rights to die on their own terms, and the status of this issue's existence has been proven by many statistics. As written by Joseph Chamey, a writer and contributor to the works of Yale University on August 9, 2018, the World Health Organization has reported that nearly 800,000 people commit suicide yearly, with PAS making up less than 2% of that total. Some people feel as though they have to take matters into their own hands because PAS has not been made legal everywhere. As specified by Sandra Alters, a published author in her book, Death and Dying, End-of-Life Controversies on October 1, 2014, while the right to life is a protected freedom, the right to death is not guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution. According to an article written by Faith Legay, a doctor of philosophy in the AMA Journal of Ethics on January 1, 2014, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that laws criminalizing PAS are not unconstitutional, so that right has been left up to the individual states. This leaves some people with a massive disadvantage in terms of being able to access legal PAS. Whether this be the fact that the terminally ill people cannot access these states that have legal PAS, or the fact that it is not readily available to them in a timely manner. The significance of this issue is undebatable. On the report of Terry Miller, a writer and author for PBS on November 10, 2015, 7 out of 10 Americans suffer from a terminal illness, and over 90 million Americans suffer from one or more terminal illnesses. As maintained by Claudia Gamondi, a doctoral student in her article, Family Caregivers' Reflections on Experiences of Assisted Suicide in Switzerland, a qualitative interview study, people worldwide are affected by the unavailability of PAS. While some countries in Europe, Asia, and a few states in the US have made it legal, many others have not due to the ethics of this problem. Now that I've talked about the problem, I'd like to discuss a solution. The U.S. Congress must act to legalize PAS in all 50 states. This goal is by no means impossible to achieve. Any elected official in the U.S. can introduce a bill to Congress. They then confer, make edits, and pass this bill along to the House of Representatives and Senate. They must both be in agreement before passing this bill along to the President to be further approved as a law. Through the act of legalizing PAS in all 50 states, hospitals offering this service around the U.S. would then be within reasonable distance of any terminally ill person and available to them legally without any fear of prosecution. As stated by Peter T. Hetzler, a leading surgeon and author from New Jersey, in his article, A Report of Physicians' Beliefs About Physician-Assisted Suicide, a national study on December 20th, 2019, 73% of Americans are already in favor of legalizing PAS, showing that while this solution is not only practical, it is also desirable. This solution has shown to work in other places besides just the United States. Referring back to Gamondi's article, in Switzerland, PAS is permitted by law to any person meeting a certain criteria for unbearable suffering. Family members and caregivers of those eligible have reported having deep feelings of closure and relief for their loved ones that no longer suffer. In Switzerland, PAS is viewed as a personal right and as a choice to avoid losing dignity and suffering and avoid having a death controlled by medical machinery. Today I've talked to you about the problem of unavailability of PAS in the United States and a practical solution to this problem. The federal government must mandate that PAS be made legal in all 50 states. Even though the thought of choosing suicide might be terrifying for some of us, this solution could provide relief to anyone unlucky enough to ever have to deal with a terminal illness in the future.